Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be checking out the new episode for Loki. So this episode is called the Nexus event, and we're in episode 4, if I'm not mistaken. And I mean, man, what an episode. Things just started off, as usual, with a lot of questions. We started off in Asgard. I was like, wait, why are we in Asgard? What's going on? But then it looks like they were showing off a little bit of Sylvie's backstory, right? At first, I guess I was getting breakfast ready and stuff, and I wasn't really paying attention, and I legit thought that they were going to kind of, talk about why she was taken, but I guess I really didn't see exactly the reason, and I thought that she literally was taken because she had like the wrong toy. Maybe like she found a toy she wasn't supposed to, and that's why she got taken, because she was already pretty big, right? She's not a little baby or anything, because later on in the episode they kind of reveal why she was taken, but I'll get to it later. So obviously the timekeepers come in and they kind of take her away, and then they show a little bit more of kind of like the trial and process that they do, but luckily she was able to get away by outsmarting the head. I guess back then she was just a regular officer or a hunter, so she got away and she's been running ever since. But obviously then we come back to present day, I guess if you can even call it that, with Loki and Sylvie just sitting in Lamentis waiting for its destruction. And this is when we see that famous shot in the trailer that we all thought might be Black Widow, because in the trailer, I don't know if it was the camera angle or the lighting, but Sylvie's hair looked more orange or reddish than usual, and everybody thought that it was like Black Widow. It was even a lot poofier, so I think it was obviously a camera trick, because it ended up just being Sylvie at the very end, which is kind of upsetting. I was hoping that for some reason, for whatever reason, Loki was going to talk to Black Widow, but again, why would that, why would they really talk? But anyways, so they have another heart-to-heart moment. They're sitting there kind of like, hey, this is the end, was this all really worth it? During the whole thing I'm sitting there thinking, this is very heartfelt and everything, but what if like a rock hits them, like obviously the moon is falling and there's tons of little meteors coming down, and they're just sitting there, luckily not being hit by any of them. But of course, they do have their heart-to-heart moment. They kind of like, talk about themselves and everything, and honestly, like, they're just there, kind of like accepting everything. And she maybe, later on kind of talks about why, she was being hunted all this time. And it looks like it really is just as simple as she was born a girl. I guess it's okay for Loki to be variant in different ways, but it's always supposed to be a boy, I guess, because people said that he's gender fluid, but really, I mean, he's obviously male, but maybe it was also revealed that he was bisexual, so that's okay. If you're male, bisexual, perfect, right? But like gender wise, I guess he's not supposed to be born as a girl, so she was born as the goddess of mischief, and that kind of like, they started hunting her from that point on. I guess maybe the TVA found out a little bit later, because again, they kind of found her as a kid, not really as a baby or anything like that, but still. I thought that my theory was going to be, that there was going to be an abnormality from their deaths there in Lamentis. Like, they're like, oh, Loki and Sylvie, or at least Loki, he's not supposed to die here. He's supposed to die, against Thanos. So they find that anomaly and pick them up. But really, it was a love anomaly. Like Loki and I don't know if Sylvie feels the same way, but Loki and Sylvie were starting to have feelings for each other. And when you're having feelings for yourself, it's creating not just like a regular anomaly, but a whole kind of like time anomaly, because you weren't even supposed to meet yourself and blah blah blah. Now you're falling in love with them. That's crazy. But after they were found by the TVA, which was what I think was going to happen, they were going to be found by an abnormality. A door opens, they decide to go in, because it's what's better, dying or just getting captured, right? So they get captured, they get separated, They get put into different rooms. They want to kind of like break them a little bit before they can start questioning them. They put Loki in this weird memory chamber. It's a like a bad memory prison. Because I guess the bad thing is like you get to relive a bad memory, but it's on loop. So he's probably there for hours and hours just reliving the same moment. So it's kind of crazy. But after that, he's able to kind of have, sit down with Mobius and have an interview and just kind of talk a little bit more about, what's going on. And they're both kind of playing mind games on each other, kind of figuring out, what is really going on. In the end, Mobius kind of pushes a few buttons and kind of reveals to Loki that, yeah, you are in love with her, I guess, and it's crazy to think that you're even in love. And then, Loki's fed up, he's not listening, blah, blah. Because earlier he found, I don't know if it was this episode or the last episode, I think it was last episode, where they find out that all the timekeeper, like soldiers, they're variants. They're not, they weren't created, they're variants. So obviously he's fed up, and Loki just tells him, like, you're variants, So the truth comes out, and they literally, he literally doesn't believe him, right? So he sends him back to kind of like, the jail, and he goes talk to I'm sorry, I'm blanking on their name, the commander, the female commander. She I'm calling her commander just because she's higher up, but I'll probably put her name here if I can. But she starts talking to him, kind of like, oh, we did a good job, we finally closed his case, but he still feel like something's off, because obviously he doesn't know that the time seekers have secrets of their own, I guess you would say, right? Because for him, after Loki told him that, oh, you guys are just variants, he reacts in a weird way, kind of like he, not that he knew that was the truth, but he suspected it. And I was thinking, like, obviously it didn't work. He's like, oh, you're lying to me. But he kind of gave off this vibe of like, he really does know. And was he scared? Is it something like he's not, he doesn't want to say it's true? Because, for example, not only he kind of felt the same way, it was also the other girl, like the other hunter that we've seen. I'm blanking on her name, but I'll probably put a picture on her on the screen. She's also kind of like, she messed with my mind. So I guess in the last episode when Sylvie, messed with her mind, she kind of like saw memories of her past life. And so then, I'm really glad that she just didn't push it away. Like, she actually like asked Sylvie, like, hey, what is this? Is this true? She wanted proof, right? And she thought she was playing tricks on her, but no, she goes in, she sets her free, and she kind of like says, hey, what is this? What are these memories? And Sylvie shows her, and I guess that turns her into our side, right? Where the timekeepers are really lying. But during that time, Mobius is talking to, the head girl, right? The leader. And having a heart-to-heart, because obviously they've been doing this for a long time, and they have a good friendship going on. She kept mentioning like friendship, and I guess maybe she liked him, but I hear that she's with someone else in the comics, so I guess I don't know if they're gonna bring that person in or whatever. But it just felt like a lot of like good bonding, and like a good like moment for them to kind of talk about what they've been thinking. I mean, especially Mobius, he keeps kind of like, asking about, the other girl that they found, the one that Sylvie had manipulated, and what happened to her. And she has said, hey, she's deceased. She got crazy, whatever, and she died from craziness. And that even that sounds crazy. Like, it's like you're it's bullshit. So in the end, Mobius does like kind of betray her, and he swaps devices to kind of like see if he can find anything regarding this new information he just gathered. So after he learns the truth, he goes back to Loki, who's still in the time prison. He says, hey, I looked up what I could, and it looks like you're right. They lied. I don't remember my past, but there's other people who they've been hiding from it. and so he tries to take Loki with him, right, to escape. But of course, the headmaster, I'm gonna just call her that for now until I know her name, she I guess caught on, because she notices that the machine the little device she has is not hers, and so she's already waiting for them there at the exit. And at first Mobius tries to kind of play it off like, oh, what's going on, but I think he's smarter. He knows that she knows, like they're both really smart, so he kind of just gives in. He's like, yeah, I know what you're doing, and I'm sorry, I can't go along with it. And so she did. It looks like she didn't want to do it, but she still did, and she ended up kind of like killing Mobius, purging him, which at first I thought it was like, oh, instant death, right? You're erasing him from time, so I guess he's going back to his original timeline. So it was definitely like the ultimate sacrifice. And so then after that, Loki kind of like gives in, and he follows her. He gets reunited with Sylvie, and they both taken to the actual timekeepers. Now this really felt like a mid-season finale, because you're meeting the timekeepers. They're kind of finally deciding your fate, but then right before they're going to be executed, the other girl, the commander that was helping Sylvie from the last episode, she comes in, frees them, hands her a sword, and they all start fighting. And it's like another, like I said, literally a mid-season finale. They're fighting, it's action-packed, all this stuff is happening, and in the end they kind of win the day, right? They are able to defeat some of the agents, and they're kind of just fed up with everything. The timekeepers are kind of still ignoring them. They're like, you guys were insignificant to begin with, and now that you're doing this, you either have two choices: you can join us or perish. But she's having none of it, Sylvie, and she throws her sword at him. And I'm like, yo, because I had my suspicions that either the timekeepers were fake, like they just made them up, or that if they were real, it was just some sort of illusion. And it turned out to be the case. Like when Sylvie threw her sword at it, she cut off its head, and it fell off, and you can see kind of sparks coming out, and it turns out they were robots, they were androids. And that was kind of what I was thinking, like it was fake. And when that happened, I jumped out of my seat. I was like, I knew it. It's like, oh my God, such a good moment. Like, it's such a good feeling when you have a theory about a show and it kind of comes true. Like normally you have theories and they don't really come true, and you're like, oh, either you get a little disappointed, or you're just like, yeah, okay, that's not what I was thinking, but this is still pretty good. But when something and it's something that big, when something that you kind of imagine, you're like, oh, what's going to happen, and it happens, you get really excited. So obviously it's kind of like a Wizard of Oz situation where it's being controlled by the shadows. We don't know who's controlling it, but looks like these are fake. And so after that revelation, they kind of they're at shocked, and after winning the day, Loki kind of tries his best to confess his feelings, I guess, for Sylvie, which I know it's a weird thing, but he should have just been quicker, because he's distracted. He's talking with her, and I don't know if she feels the same way. Hopefully she does, but he gets distracted, and then the headmaster gets back up, and she prunes Loki, right? And you're like, no, what the heck, Loki? But of course, how are they going to kill Loki? So obviously pruning looks like it's not really instant death. It's more like you get teleported somewhere. And later on in the end credit scenes, it does show that, yeah, you do get teleported into this kind of variant junkyard, is what I think the best way to describe it is. Like a place where you throw away trash, right? Dispose of people. But, before, so Loki gets sent there, and then Sylvie, she's about to kind of well, she's not going to kill the headmaster. The headmaster kind of wants her to kill her, because either she's been doing it for so long and she just wants to die, but Loki just wants information. Sylvie just wants information. So we leave things off with her threatening, the headmaster for information, and then we leave Loki, kind of in this, junkyard. I don't know if it's only 4 Loki variants, or if he'll maybe meet up with Mobius in the next episode. But hey, overall, it was a fantastic episode. I watched it in the morning, and I loved it. I wanted to do this review a little bit earlier, but I got busy. This whole week has been busy, not just with my film channel, but as well as my gaming channel. I've been, for my gaming channel, doing a lot of reactions and discussions. I've taken a break from gameplay, so I might go back next week to finish off what I started. But kind of want to do more discussions. I love talking about this stuff. Like even, for example, this, I've done trailer reactions. I'm doing, episode reviews. I want to do more podcasts, stuff like that. So, hey, I mean, overall, this episode was amazing. And if it just keeps getting better and better, then I'm definitely excited. I mean, I hate that I have to wait a full week, but the weeks usually go by pretty fast. I mean, some of these episodes, I like today, for example, I should have gotten this done early, but sometimes I'm pretty lazy and I end up filming the review a few days later. I mean, heck, I'm pretty much backed up on my Star Wars, the Bad Batch review, so I'm probably going to do like a 3-part episode review in one, because the last few episodes, nothing much happens, but when you put them on together, it makes sense. But at least Loki, not only is it a longer episode overall, it's just more stuff happens. This literally felt almost like a movie level episode, like how much happened and all the revelations definitely felt like it should have been a movie. So hopefully the next episodes are just as good. I still don't know how many episodes this series has. I'm thinking 8, kind of like the other ones. So we'll see. If not, it looks like this is literally the mid-season episode. But hey, with that being said, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Are you liking the series? What are your theories about who the real villain could be and what's going to happen next? So hey, with that being said, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss out on anything else that I upload. And until next time, bye.